Hello.
So fun to see everybody's face again. It's been like months because I wasn't at last month's meeting. So,
Good morning.
hey,
Hi,
Tracy.
Tracy.
Morning.
Ready. I know we might have a smaller group today. I know April is a busy month. There's lots of fun community stuff going on. There's Go Blue rallies. There's lots of engagement in the communities right now. So
We lost her.
Oops. I think Rianne froze. So I think she was saying there's a lot of community events going on both this week and this month. So we'll just see who's able to
I have a
join. But as
smaller group today.
always,
Oh my God.
Rianne,
Can you hear me now?
you're
Yeah.
freezing. You're kind of
Oh my
coming in and
gosh.
out. So I just started
Thank you.
So we'll start with introductions and then we'll do community share outs. But if people join us, then that's great. If not, as always, we record the meetings. So we were going to start today. I know most of us know each other, but if you can, we're going to just do name, community, and how you're situated in the sector. And so that's one of the things we've been trying to make sure people are kind of grounded in as a way to make connections in different communities. And so however you want to answer that, like if you're a home visitor, if you work in early learning, if you work in a coalition, there could be a lot of different ways you answer that, but just helping remind people of how you are placed or situated to make connections between different communities. So I'll start. I'm Carmen. I'm with A2P2. I was formerly one of the co-facilitators. I'm handing that off to Rianne now that she's here. I am in Anchorage. And as one of the co-facilitators, I'm with I'm a statewide nonprofit of A2P2. My background is public health. I will hand it off to Abby.
Hi everyone, Abby here. Good to see you guys. I think I missed the last meeting live, so it's been a minute. I'm down here on the Kenai Peninsula and I lead SAFER, which is our community coalition. So we really sit more as like a coalition in the community, a place for agencies and resources to connect and programs to connect, but also come together and plan events, educational opportunities, and put together different support opportunities for families in our community. And I'll pass it over to Veronica.
Hello, I'm Veronica. I'm calling in from Nome. I run a small private eye care clinic here in Nome, but also help facilitate the Norton Sound Early Childhood Coalition. And I have a young daughter, so I'm involved in the community through children programming and also in several I sit in several boards that manage children programs. So I will pass it on to Heather.
I'm Heather Burke. I'm in Kodiak. I am the Infant Learning Program Coordinator. I also sit on some other community boards, like we have an Early Childhood Coalition board in Kodiak, not a board, but an early coalition, Early Childhood Coalition, Human Resources Coalition, and network a lot with the other programs in our community. I forgot. Oh, how about Eileen?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Eileen Stevenson. I live and work in Copper Center, Alaska, about 3 hours east of Wasilla. And I am currently the administrator for a child development center here. And I also coordinate early childhood systems efforts in the region. And I am so glad we're meeting today. And I forgot as well to pass it on. Crystal.
Hi, everybody. Crystal Hoke. I'm from Girdwood Community. I work with Girdwood Inc. on a coalition with Little Bears Playhouse, and we are working on a building project to build a new childcare facility here in Girdwood. Oh, and then I guess has Veronica gone? I'm not sure who hasn't gone yet.
I did go, but maybe Tracy?
Hi, this is Tracy. And I am multitasking as usual. But so I'm from Kotzebue, and I am the early learning, one of the early learning and family program co-coordinators. And I'm help my daughter the childcare, and I've started the Family Support Coalition here. So that's me. And I can't see anyone else because I'm on my phone. So if there's anyone else, I can't, I don't know that.
I can go next, Tracy. Thank you. I'm Marianne Honeman Keha. I am the partnerships lead here at A2P2. And so I'm engaging with lots of communities, with everybody here at the ECN, and with the Home Visiting Alliance. And so just supporting all of the wonderful work that you all do, creating community connections, and building more resources for all of us to use here around the state. So I'll go ahead and pass it to Shannon.
Hi, everyone. As I said, it's great to see everyone's face. I too was not at the meeting last month, so it's been a while. I'm Shannon Parker. I am with Women's Children Family Health. I work in the systems part with early childhood for the state of Alaska, and will be co-facilitating with Rayanne as Carmen and Emily keep teaching us what we don't know. We're finding out we don't know a lot. So we're excited to work with everyone and looking forward to learning more about your regions and where you're at and what you do. So thank you very much.
Brilliant. Well, thank you everyone for sharing. We're so happy to be here today. So the first item on our agenda is to just do a community share out. I know it's been a while since we have been able to do one of those. So I'm going to put it in the chat. And so just about your community. So what are some challenges right now? What's hard right now in your community? Some community wins. What is going good or right? And then goals for your immediate future, and then upcoming events that you're hosting. If you want to share that, and if anybody feels particularly ready to go, jump on in. If not, I'm happy to call out somebody, but I don't want to also do that if you're not ready. So maybe we give a few minutes to think about it, and then feel free to jump on in.
So this is Tracy, and I can go because I can go. So one of the challenges, we have a hard time with staffing. Staffing's a challenge. We did open up, finally our job center opened up again. So we're working on different advertising for our child care center. But one of the cool things that just happened is we're working on, we just had Emily Erlacher here and some of the folks. We had a great meeting at Manelik, and it came up about Norton Sound doing a companion document for the ASQ. So now through the Family Support Coalition, we're facilitating that within our region. So that's really exciting.
That's awesome, Tracy. I'd love to talk with you more about that offline at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to meet probably in a couple of weeks when our Dr. Mara's up here too. And yeah, so we're looking forward to it.
This is Veronica. So along the lines of Tracy, staffing, I think, is our biggest challenge at this time in the community. I've noticed there's a lot of executive director positions open within the bigger agencies in our community. And so I think that does have a trickling down effect towards all programming. On the positive, we are continuing some of our big events. So we are having Child Find sometime this month. Our Child Advocacy Center does a wonderful job of coordinating with other community organizations to do events throughout the month of April. So there's some events that we've done each year that are continuing to happen. So I'm excited to see that moving forward. And then what was we are still, again, capacity is kind of our biggest challenge. So our coalition has been a little bit stagnant lately, but Stephanie, who is my partner in this, and I are scheduled to meet sometime soon to try to see what we can do to keep that going. However, that we have been a point of contact for a lot of different organizations. So I do like that because our name is recognized, that other community partners are able to reach out to us, and we're able to connect people. So things are still continuing to happen. And then we do plan on hosting a community baby shower around the Mother's Day time. So we're looking forward to doing that.
I can go next. It's going to sound redundant, but the challenge is staffing our early learning centers. But there is another positive thing I want to say about that is that because it's so hard to staff, we've been recruiting kids right out of high school, and we're growing our own. And we have been able to provide a lot of high quality training throughout this last year. And in the coming month, we're going to be sending 5 of our educators to in-person thread trainings in Fairbanks and Seward. So I'm really glad we're able to make the most of those trainings offered, and that we're able to fund their travel. So that's exciting. And then something I'm excited about, a project I'm working on, is a direct fruit of our ECN retreat and conversations that I had there with several of all of you, is that we're getting closer to get an imagination library started. And that was a direct fruit from the retreat. So I'm excited about that. And I think those are the highlights for this month. Oh, sorry, no, there was another one that I had actually prepared. This is all what I hadn't prepared. The school has been doing a really good job putting on what they call literacy nights for school-age children. And they have, we've been working together to extend that to 3 to 5-year-olds. And so we've been providing activities and materials for their 3 to 5 age group for those school literacy nights. And it's enabled our preschool age children to become familiar with the school, the surroundings, and then also for the parents to get educated on how they can help the preschoolers to get kindergarten ready. So they are doing a literacy night. It's their 3rd one coming up for this school year, and it's been a great collaboration.
Aline, sorry, just a quick question on that. So is this too where they invite the parents as well to the literacy nights? Yeah, okay. Yeah, our school's been doing that too, and it's been really great. I've enjoyed it. I love the idea that you guys decided to expand it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's easy in the sense there's already the structure and the activity all set up. So we're able to just with a tiny bit more work have a lot of fruits. And I think all this is the coming from the whole letters, I can't remember the name of the bill, but all the reading effort in the schools. Sorry, I'm not being very precise, but I'm sure you all know.
The READS Act.
Yes, thank you, the READS Act. And so that is one of the things that was born from that. And we've been excited to jump on board with our preschool age kids.
How's it been going? I remember earlier in the year, some of the conversation you guys were having was actually getting people to come to events. How's the attendance been?
Anything, yes, you're right. It's a challenge, but anything based off the school seems to be working.
Interesting.
I would agree.
The school does not seem to be working. And I think
I would agree with that.
What's that?
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Part of it is or it's right after the school day, or the families are familiar with the school, but it's also that it's a very neutral place, at least in our area. if it's in a village hall or at our clinic, there's always, you know how it is, small towns, always politics about everything, and everyone has something to say about something or be heard about something. And so it seems like in our region anyway, the school seems to be a very neutral place where people gather around sports and these kind of events. So I think that's maybe the way to go.
And Carmen, for what I've noticed is that the teachers, because in our community, they do it by grades. So each month or whatever, it's like second and third grade or, whatever. And what I've noticed is that teachers will provide a little incentive. So like, you don't have to do your reading log today if you and your family come to this. And I think that really, I mean, for us, like sometimes like I'll forget it's happening, but my daughter sure remembers. And so she makes sure that we attend. So I think that's another way that it brings in more people than it normally would, because it's your child wanting that little boost.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good to know. And interesting that it's consistent between communities in two different regions. That's great. That's great to hear. Thank you both.
I'll chime in next. So I think one of our challenges here as of lately is there is potential for some change. So we have had a really strong backbone agency, which has been so helpful, having that support financially and just the structure and foundation. That could potentially change in the next few months. And so it's kind of a little concerning. But also on the positive, I think it's going to push us to take the leap that we have not had to take yet. So I think if anything, it's going to push us to decide maybe get a little more strategic with what we're doing as a group. I feel like we've just hit the ground running as a coalition, and we're so busy doing the work that we haven't taken the time to do like some formal strategic planning and identify who we are. I mean, we have a mission statement, we have some of those things, but we really have not taken the time together to do that. And so I think if anything, it's going to push us to do some of that to essentially establish the sustainability ongoing and look for opportunities. So I'm looking at it as a positive, although there is a little worry there. But I would say community wins, what's going well. We have several events coming up, and it's just been a beautiful partnership on all of them. We're partnering with our Child Advocacy Center and several other vendors, lots of vendors, for an event for Child Abuse Prevention Month here in April, at the end of April. We have another event in Nikiski in May. And then our big event at the Wednesday Market, another partnership opportunity with really the community in June. So we have the funding and we have all the things for all three of these events. So we're good to go for now. And hopefully we'll work through everything over the next few months and figure out where we land. But yeah, those are really the big wins. I think for me, it's just always seeing community partners come together and support this work, and really tying in educational components to these events. So we make them fun and family friendly, inviting, but also like tying in that educational component and resource navigation so that families attending are able to get connected. And then let's see, immediate goals. I think that's it for me. So thanks.
I'll jump in, even though mine are less specific to childcare and more specific to our project. What is hard right now is construction costs are so high that this is, we're having sticker shock on some of our items. Also, there's like the lack of resources. Like we don't have like a local source for gravel, so every truckload of gravel has to come from Anchorage, and so it just gets really expensive. What is going well right now? We are moving along in our design. We're at 65% design, which is really exciting. We have updated our business plan, which I think is what kind of Abby was getting to, is like, and the coalition was part of that. It was Girdwood Inc. working together with Little Bears to create the business plan that was imagining the larger facility. So expanding capacity is our largest issue. We do have full staffing at Little Bears. This is also like kind of a fun town and place for young kids to come. And so I feel like that's a good recruiting tool for us to use, as we have like amazing recreation here to get them here. And then, ideally we would get them started in the childcare field. And ideally we will make enough money to pay for benefits for them because of our capacity. And let's see here. Goals for the immediate future. I would love to start clearing this summer. It's kind of up in the air. And it might be next summer. And then upcoming events that you're hosting will be, I have another fundraiser in late summer or early fall, and did one in January, and we had a really good community turnout with basically all of our clubs coming together, the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, all playing a part in the fundraiser and learning about the new building. So thanks.
I think Heather, do you have an update maybe?
Sure. So I feel like it's very redundant because again, here in Kodiak, we have all the similar things going on that everywhere else does, lack of housing, things cost a lot, not a lot of job opportunities, not a lot of, and then on the flip side, there are a lot of job opportunities, but not enough people to fill them. So it's kind of a catch-22. So staffing is always tricky within Kodiak. I know school district is having trouble. Looks like there's a little expedition behind me. There's also a lack of parenting classes within our community. So I'm thinking about those kinds of things. Childcare is always an ongoing problem where there's more kids than there is availability and spots. And quality childcare is hard to find. Sometimes we have places that are open, but maybe it's not conducive to what the parents need or want. And our school district's having quite the budget cut at the moment. So our school district's having some trouble with staffing and having to let go of staff, and sort of a very redundant problems within our community. Just some things that our community has been doing. We too have a diaper exchange, which a local church has been putting on, so monthly. So they have been able to have a site to give out or exchange diapers, multiple play groups within our community. So it's kind of nice that the local Coast Guard base has been doing a play group. We have a Chamai home visiting program within CANA that has been providing some not only play groups, but opportunities for the parents to do some activities. So some like coffee chat kind of groups, so parents can do a little activity and have some one-on-one time with someone their own age versus talking to their kid all day. And then we're going to be having our children's fair and our new marketplace. So CANA opened a new marketplace downtown for the community to use and rent out. And the Arts Council has been putting some activities there for all ages. So they've been having like live bands play, and we have a thing called galley tables where they talk story and tell little snippets of stories for the community to come out and listen. So a lot of community involvement. We recently had an outdoor film festival play, and that was for all ages to just enjoy the beauty of summer in Kodiak in the ugly dead of spring winter here in Kodiak. So yeah, those are some things that have been going well and some things that are coming up. I don't know if we have goals per se. And I'm not sure if the Kodiak Early Childhood Coalition in our community is actually hosting, but they co-host a lot of events, which I think is good because it's good that not just one entity is hosting all the things. I think it's nice that they just sort of help and assist lots of groups come together. So maybe that's one like celebration for Kodiak, is that not just one group has to take and bear the weight of an activity. So yeah, that's what's going on here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. Lots of great things happening in your community. And I, just from all the other connections I've made, that, you know, the biggest thing that everyone's talking about is staffing, workforce issues, and everything that you just said, Heather, between finding the right people, but then also there's more job openings than there are people. And so it's just all the time scratching your head how to find the solution to a really big systemic problem that there's no easy solution for, but lots of really great things happening in each of your community. I love the partnership. I was just taking really quick notes so that we can send them out later. And I'm excited to read through these again. Super cool things. Tracy wrote something in the chat. Tracy, I'm just going to share it. It says, 2 more fun things that are happening. I'm heading to Juneau with Thread next week. We identified an educator who may want to open a childcare center here. So we look forward to working with her. We also are looking at joining the National Diaper Bank Network. Anyone else work with them? So does anybody else work with the National Diaper Bank Network? I see. I mean, our food bank has diapers, but not sure where they get them from. We'll ask and let you know what I hear from anything. And how about any other communities? Do you know if you guys have diaper banks or how they got started?
This is Tracy. They do say they have one in Anchorage.
Yeah.
They have a partner in Anchorage, so that's all I know.
Oh, that's
Tracy,
helpful.
have you checked with Amy Simpson? Because I think if I remember right, Pick does something with the diaper banks.
I will check with her.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think ours is like a collect from the community and then give back to the community.
All right. I see that Donna and Bobby Joe both joined us. Good morning to both of you. We were just going around sharing our community highlights, some of the challenges, community wins, goals, and upcoming events. And it sounds like everybody's got lots of really great things going on. Bobby Joe, do you have anything from your end? Any updates or fun things happening up in Talkeetna?
Well, I know that the Denali Arts Council is working on an after school program, and they've been working pretty closely, just collaborating with Thomas from the After School Network, which has been great. But in terms of the state, I think I heard Tracy talk about some of the Thread things, and of course, we're always working closely with Thread. Nothing really new to report. I'm guessing Shannon probably reported out on some things. Oh, you didn't? Okay.
Not yet, Bobby Joe, so go for it.
Well, I mean, that's kind of where we're coming from. I don't know if you want to share anything else. I'm
I
sorry I
have-
was late. I
Oh,
had some
no. I
conflicting
mean, I have a
things.
few things to share, but if you have something, go ahead. I mean, I know we kind of work in different realms anyway, but I don't think we have anything happening that you and I share anything with. Updates anyway. There's no innovation grant updates. That people are, so yeah.
Well, okay, I can share we have a couple partnership meetings that are coming up here at A2P2. So our monthly partnership meetings we hold them, let's see, September through May in different communities, and it's a great opportunity to just bring everybody together into one place and to share resources, talk about updates in our health field, our early childhood field. And so we have one this Friday out in the Matsu Valley. And so I'm happy to share after our meeting, I'll share out the invitation if you haven't gotten it. You can participate virtually or in person. We've got a great list of speakers who are talking about childcare, who are talking about updates in the pediatric world, from Ptarmigan Connections, from the hospitals, specific clinics, so that it's very exciting. And then in May, we'll be out in Nome doing our partnership meeting and doing some community connections out there too. So Veronica and Stephanie helped us connect to some really wonderful people out in Nome. So we're excited to pay some visits to their programs. And then we, again, will have another partnership meeting on May 3rd that you can participate in as well. Hi, Joan. Good morning. We're just doing some community updates, not to put you on the spot as you were just coming in, but we were just sharing out some of what's happening in our communities. I'll put it in the chat for you to see too. So some challenges
And
happening in our
Crystal
community.
already gave an update for Girdwood, but you're
Oh,
welcome to add
thank you.
anything if you wanna chime in from your perspective. But we did hear a little bit from Girdwood already. Thanks, Joan.
Oh, I'm sure she did a great job. Sorry, I'm late.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm still learning who is in a community together. So wonderful. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Shannon, do you want to share the next piece?
Sure. Just thinking of it, Bobby Joe, I was like, there's other things happening in the state. I guess I could mention there's some trainings happening. So there's an ASQ Train the Trainers, just thinking about this because some of it, would affect some of your providers if you have them, or community centers, but it's being sponsored by Deed, and it's April 8th through the 10th. And so the contact person for that would be Kristen Spencer. And if you would put her email, Rayanne, in the chat, that would be great. I think they have a couple of slots open. So if you have anybody you have to have 2 years experience doing ASQs, but it's something. And then we're continuing to do FAN and strengthening family training. So as those trainings come up, we'll make sure we get those out to people. We do have a cohort coming up, but it's already full of OCS workers. It's more of an OCS cohort. But as the next one comes up, we'll let people know and you can register for those. So on the agenda, we were talking about the integrated mental health plan. This is out for public comment, and we just wanted to bring it up. If you would like to make public comment on it, we would just encourage you to do that. This is their 5-year plan. And what this plan is, it's a joint effort between the state office, I think it's, who is it? The Family Community Services, the Mental Health Trust, and some tribal entities. There's a really good portion of it that deals with early childhood. So I know Rand sent the link in the email yesterday, but can I share something, Rand, if you don't mind? Thanks. It's still not letting me share. What I was going to share is the part on the early childhood section. Oh, thank you. So this just gives you, this was just one of the flyers that was sent out besides the plan. The plan is pretty long. I believe the early childhood part is around page 5. So if you want to look at, not read the whole thing, but go really to early childhood, it's page 5. So they're talking about early childhood healthcare, economic, social well-being, substance use disorder, suicide prevention, and on and on. And this is the plan for the next 5 years. So like I said, there's the section on early childhood. Here's just kind of a synopsis, a summary of what they're looking at for the infant mental health portion on early childhood. Again, it's March 15th to April 15th. So if you can go in and just read or glance at the parts that you really have something to say about, it would be great if you could go in and do the public comment. And it's all, like I said, in the links that Rayanne sent out. Do you have any questions on this? We just wanted to make sure everyone had their eyes on it if interested.
Just out of curiosity, how many folks know about the comp plan? And have you ever heard of it before? Do you know what it is? Like just by a quick show of hands or voices. Have you ever heard of the comp plan before? When it came out a number of years ago, it was really like a new but a really important, helpful thing that there was like kind of cross-entity planning around mental health, and it's been helpful and important in advocating for allocation of resources and making sure things that were included in the comp plan were budgeted. And one reason we'd really like to make sure that people know about it and are able to comment on it was something of particular importance for the ECN is that the first goal originally was just early childhood. It's now early childhood and youth. Is just even the fact that it was in there, but it allows for us to tie budget requests to early childhood and things within the trust budget that have a focus on early childhood and youth. And citing the fact that it's in the comp plan is really powerful. And getting comments on the record for the plan help ensure that it stays in there and increases the likelihood that budget line items will be allocated to those resources. And so I know some ECN members are funded by projects by the trust that are that have comp plan goals or objectives. And so we'd love for people to put in comment, even if it's like not long, even if it's just generally in support of the comp plan. If you don't know what it is, we send it out here. We'll send it out in the post meeting resources. But I do think it's one of those things that it's helpful to know about, just the fact that our state does have something like this. We went back and forth about how kind of much of the meeting to take up space with this. At one point, we talked about kind of sending it ahead and having more of a larger presentation about what the comp plan is. One of the things that we're kind of, I don't know, wrestling with makes it sound kind of big and scary, but like one of the things we're kind of philosophically thinking about is, I know there's been a lot of discussion about these like large scale state plans, big guiding documents and things like that. And we don't want to oversaturate the group with things like this, because we want to make sure that the group stays grounded in like the cross community discussion, sharing out of what you're actually doing, because that's such a core component of the ECN. But I also we also think that, and we've heard from you guys that having visibility and awareness of what these state things are is really important, because it gives you all the chance to make sure that your voices are heard and you can weigh in on how these impact your local community. And so we're trying to find the right balance of making sure that one doesn't overshadow the other. So we'd like continual and ongoing feedback of making sure of how we're doing or things are going in balancing those two. So this is one of those documents that I think it's really important that people know about. And if you need more information or you want more, we can certainly spend more time going through it. But we didn't want to like have all of today's meeting go over it because we've had so many heavy meetings around like the childcare task force and the PDG plan and things like that. We didn't want a whole nother meeting just on a state plan. But this one is one that you should have on your radar. And if we can get people to comment on it, it will directly benefit ECN member communities in how state trust budget allocation is done.
And just to, if you haven't read it, I mean, I read it, like I said, I glanced through it one time and went back over it really well. Because it does talk about universal screening. It talks about ACEs. It talks about all the social emotional stuff that I think we all are dealing with. It's coming up really up front right now. It's really, I think it's really a good plan. And so I would say read it. And as Carmen said, if you have any questions, you can come back to, I think you can come back to me, Emily, Carmen, and we can try to get those questions answered. Did you have something else, Carmen?
No, I was saying you can talk to me. I'm available as a resource.
Carmen is all. So, yeah. Okay, I guess I can move on then to AECCC. So we added AECCC to the agenda. I helped coordinate that with Kristen Spencer from DEED. And I don't know if a lot of you know about AECCC or what's happening with that right now. But I just wanted to bring up that we do have committees that will be starting, work group committees starting here soon in the next probably couple of months. We'd love community members to join. I did write down, we have, just so you know, and they follow what everyone's been talking about over, some of these topic ideas as far as what we were talking about at ECN retreat. But one of the committees is healthy and strong families, high quality care and learning, innovation and long-term investment, data and systems alignment. So these committees had been, we had started working at this with a joint task force at one point, and then it got merged into AECCC. We're just now starting to really get moving on this work. And so if anybody is interested, we don't know when the timeline will be. We're just onboarding right now chairs for these committees. But if interested, please contact myself or Kristen Spencer at DEED, and I'll put those emails in the chat because we'd love community members, community voice. I don't know what the commitment's going to be like right now. That would be something I could let you know more as we get further in. But any questions or any interest, please reach out.
And we don't, like Shannon said, we don't quite know what it's going to look like yet. The committees are still forming, but something that we'd like to put together is, and that I've been reflecting on, especially since some of the discussions in the advisory board, like pre-meeting from the retreat and talk from the retreat. I know there's a big burden on ECN members. You're often the one in your community that's gone to, and you're the one that is, or one or two, that are asked to be representative all the time. And I, or ATP2 thinks that it's really valuable that the voice you bring is represented in some of the discussions that are going to be happening in the committee meetings. And so as this process is forming together, we'd like to try to structure something where we can offer a stipend or honoraria for ECN members to participate in the committee meetings to offset the time as a community representative that you might be there participating. So it's not a there on unfunded time where you're not offering community representation as a on a volunteer basis. So as Shannon is able to come up with more information about what the time commitment is and what the structure might look like, I'm going to be trying to put together how a stipend or honorary opportunity might pair with that, so we can make sure the community representation is done in a kind of a fair way. So again, if you're interested, contact one of us and we can make sure that that is put together so that we can have your community voice represented in how that work is going to be done at the state level.
And not thinking about it, people know what AECCC, and I'm sorry I used the acronym instead of, I learned that using public health not to use acronyms, and I'm using them right now, but it's the Alaska Early Childhood Coordinating Council, which was in an effort with Governor Parnell, I believe, to get health, early childhood, all of this kind of together under one council. So if you're interested, yeah, let one of us know. It'd be great to have you and your voice of your community. So.
Excellent. And then I think our next one, nobody has any questions about that right now. Carmen, do you want to talk about the upcoming survey from the Stellar Group?
Yeah, so this is just something to have on your radar. Nothing is coming yet, but I believe we talked at the retreat that the Stellar Group, which is the same folks who facilitated our retreat both this year and last year, are working with the ECN for the next 3 years to do an evaluation of the health of the network. And so they are or a network evaluation. And one of the ways that they do that is there's 3 pillars of network evaluation. And I don't remember what they are right now because I'm just learning about how this process works. But how the first thing that's going to be visible to you guys is there's going to be a survey coming out later in April. And so we'll let you know when it's coming. And it will be something that we are framing it. So it'll be done over the next 3 years. So we'll kind of be able to look at where we are now and as we grow over the next 3 years. So some of the things that we're looking at, we know are components that we maybe haven't started doing yet or they're planned, but the goal is for us to understand, to get a baseline of where things are now and look at the way we operate over this next kind of 3-year period. So we'll get you more kind of logistical information about who to expect to see it from, when it's coming, things like that. All of that will come as usual from the ECN email as you're used to getting things. And we, A2P2 has worked with the Stellar Group for a long time. And the state has too on different projects. And so they're very good at trying to get like the most information with the least impacts to you guys on time and things like that. And so we'll try to make it efficient for you to not be very burdensome, because we know you all are very busy, but the information will be really valuable in helping us understand how we can make this space be as effective as possible to make sure we're meeting everybody's needs, and that how it can be strengthened to be an effective network, and understand where we are now to see what areas we can target the best for growth and health and things like that. And all of that will be stuff that will gather certain sets of information now, and we'll then debrief most of that in the fall because we take that summer break. And so we'll be walking through some of the information we gather when we reconvene in the fall time, and we'll get to work with all of that over the course of the next year. As I have.
Awesome. Thank you, Carmen. All right, I believe the last thing on our agenda for today is just to do a bit of an ECN retreat debrief here together. I know since the retreat, we had some meetings with Denali, and we really haven't had a time to just hear from you if there is anything that came up after the retreat that you're like, oh man, I wish I would have shared this, or oh wow, I had this really big aha moment. And so we just wanted to have some open time here for any reflections from the retreat here as a group. I know I was only able to be there on that Friday for a little bit for the visual activity with the pictures, which I saw from the survey seemed to be like a really wonderful activity that people really enjoyed. And I loved, even in just the short time period of being in the same room with you all, seeing personalities and hearing some of the inside jokes that you all had formed together, even just from the couple days together, from all the years that you've worked together, which was fun. I learned about Joan and her birds, which I absolutely love, and I look forward to the time that one flies in. Everyone said, just wait, Rhiannon, one might come into the meeting, and I can't wait for that to happen. So did anybody have anything that came up from the retreat that maybe it was just thing that they were grateful for, or something that they wanted to follow up on? So glad to hear, Elaine, what you shared about the Imagination Library in your community coming from the retreat, which was so cool. Anybody have anything to share?
I think yeah, one of the big highlights was just hearing about what everyone's doing, because it really gives us ideas of new things we could do, or new ways to fund it, or new ways to do it. Or if we have big roadblocks, we can see how others went around them. So to me, that's last year and this year, that's where I saw the most concrete, immediate fruit in my work. And then also just how motivating it is to be together and be with people who are passionate about the same thing than you are. I always feel like my motor gains a few horses after the retreat. So I'm grateful for that. I think we got a lot done. I was sort of pleasantly surprised by the process, because I know probably those of you who organized it and the Stellar group had more or less more of the big picture than we did at the beginning of the meeting, but it was really cool to see the process and how things actually happened by the end. How we were able to be brought, our thought process was able to be brought from point A to B. That was pretty neat.
This is Veronica. I was just bummed I got weathered in and couldn't make it out. But I think you're right. I think it's just the motivation and being in a group together, and I think that's very empowering, and I definitely missed that. So
I was there for the second year and I thought it was great, and I'm glad we're doing it, and I hope we continue to do that, because I think it's great to get to see people in person and get to really know them instead of just seeing them on a screen.
I have to say, I came out of that meeting, and here I'm not even doing direct service anymore, and felt very energized. I think we were talking yesterday how about you get together like that and you're really energized and wanting to go out and do things. And then you get back to life, right? And it's like, how does the movement, do you do it, or do you do a little bit and then stop? And so for me, it was bringing that back to the table and look at systems work. But I just appreciated everyone's ideas, and really it is your passion, because your passion made me want to do more. And so yeah, if you guys have questions or need any information, don't hesitate to reach out. It was a great place to meet everybody for the first time. So.
First of all, I wanted to say, Joan, the plan is to continue doing them annually. I will see how, I mean, I can't promise that they will indefinitely happen, but we are planning to do it next year. And as long as we are able to find funding, so that is the plan, is to keep them annually. So hopefully that continues. What I'm curious about is, I agree that that's always the best, is that like, you know, the new ideas that are sparked, the motivation, that like feeling of initial ability to keep going. But we're about you know, a month and a half, almost 2 months out now, and like we were just talking yesterday about like the, you know, when you know, inspiration fades is when the work begins, or motivation fades, so it's when the work begins. And so how are you guys feeling now? It's like, what do you need at this moment, when we're maybe some of that is wearing off a little bit, and like you have a lot of events to plan, and like there's a lot going on, all the staff is short and things like that. Are there tools now that you're feeling is there support needed that we can be reinforcing you with, that maybe that initial wave is, I mean, I hope not. I hope it's not wearing off. Like maybe you're all still, your buckets are still filled and you're doing okay. But if that's not the case, like where are you sitting now that might be, we can, you know, reinforce with other forms of resource or support?
I think, I mean, this meeting in itself was a great tool for me to actually, you know, I always come out of the in-person meetings, like at the retreat, with a big to-do list, and like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna think about this, I'm gonna contact that person, because we had half a conversation about that at lunch. And so
Yeah.
I think this meeting is actually in itself a great tool to remember, I didn't follow up on this, or what was the name of that person? She's not here today. And be able to make sure that I have the next step for each actionable item from the retreat really clear, so that it actually happens. It's crazy how fast we go from the retreat to summer, and so there's these couple months really to make things happen, and we can't wait. So I think this meeting in itself is very helpful, as long as we all sort of take the time to sit down and think about what were the actionable items we had and what's the next step.
Yeah. Some intentional follow-up, like that, a little bit of time to make those, to reconnect with some of that stuff, that like, oh yeah, you and I are going to meet when we're back in our communities, but that's so hard to do when you actually get home. And I agree with you. I don't know how February turns into summer. It doesn't seem like it can, but it does. Thanks, Eileen.
I know, I was just looking at, I took pictures, I'm sure everyone else did, of the board, and looking at some of the stuff everyone wrote down on it. And I do look at that occasionally, just because of other meetings, you know, that I think, it's like I was telling Carmen and Rayanne, a lot of meetings that we're all in intertwine so much. And so it's kind of nice to be able to hear what you guys are saying about your communities, or what the needs are. Because we can go into other meetings and go, oh, we heard this at ECN from this community, or whatever. But I was just looking at it, and it was like 4 pictures, because that board was so big, of ideas and ways we wanted to elevate early childhood in Alaska. So just looking at that really does bring back that energy. I mean, so yes, please let us know if there's anything that we can keep going on. And Rayanne and I talked. We have plans for in-person for a while. We'll find the money, Carmen.
We will find it.
We will find the money.
I had some feedback that I just thought about. So I love when we go around, it's like it usually takes about the first 2 hours, and you're all feeling fun and excited, and you're trying to put names to faces and trying to remember who's who, but it's always nice when we go around the room and we do that introduction of who we are, where we come from, what's going on in our community, kind of like how we did today. But if we had like maybe a note taker, I know you typically have somebody in the back typing away, but if we could get maybe like a outline of those same things that are said, like emailed in the wrap up, or maybe it came in my millions of emails, I missed it, but it would just kind of be nice, kind of like what Aileen was saying, like, oh, I want to talk to that person, or oh, Abby has this program going on in Southeast, maybe I want to do something like that. Or I remember coming back and I wanted to talk to Red about something, but I couldn't remember her real name and like the name that was listed, and just various things. So maybe just an outline of community updates would be fun to get at the after the retreat. And then I remember was it the Stellar group that had that survey that we were all kind of trying to remember, if did we give it to our families in our community? And then we all kind of quickly jumped on. And then we all kind of jumped on and started taking the survey because we all kind of had forgotten in the commotion. And then we were all sort of doing the survey, but then the Stellar group was not there for us to like give them feedback and ask them questions. So I don't know how to amend that, but I was just thinking, oh, I had like 4 questions I wanted to ask them after I took the survey. So I don't know if we had something like that again and they were doing a survey of sorts, maybe just to remind us, hey, take the survey before you guys come in and then have questions prepared. Because I did have some feedback and that's what they wanted, was feedback, but I didn't have it in the moment. So anyway, that was just a few things that came to my mind just now.
Thank you.
This is Crystal from Girdwood, and this is a big ask. And what we need most is money for the construction of a facility. And so like I remember when COVID money came out, and I think childcare got like 95 or $100 million. And I remember being told at the time, like not 10% of it was going to be spent on infrastructure. And so I was like, okay, $9 million in infrastructure statewide. Like that means like I'm never going to be able to build a building using those funds. But I'm like, is that still in any part of the state's purview to be doing grants that are specific to either improving a current facility that needs improvements or building new buildings to improve capacity? Because in reading the reports, like what comes out of, these studies and surveys is like, we have this massive shortage in capacity. And yes, staffing is an issue, but like capacity is a huge problem. And so anyway, my question, I guess, I don't know that anybody has the answer to that, but I know that what we need is more building funds. And so I'm trying to source where those are going to come from. And so, any infrastructure money would be extremely helpful.
This is Tracy. Did you see that there's a Denali Commission grant out?
Yes.
And that has building money in it, I believe.
Yeah. I'm planning on submitting for that one. But also like, again, it's probably a piece of our pie. We've so far we've had sources from like 4 big ones, or in 5 if you include the land donation. So it's been a piecemeal together. I'm just in the future for other communities, like I would want this process to be easier. So that's why I'm like, even if it doesn't apply to our project, like it should be set up so that other communities can build childcare infrastructure more easily and faster. Thanks.
I guess I don't know if this is going to answer your question or not, but we did just do the Innovate grant that lots of communities were able to get access those funds. But because of the way that the funding is provided, some of it's from ARPA and CURSA, those relief funds, and then some of it's from our CCDF budget. We have to follow the CCDF rules, and that can't be used for major renovation. So I don't know where it could come from in terms of from the CCPO office, but so far we don't have any plans to do any grants for construction at this point because we just can't due to the federal regulations.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely well aware of that. And Girdwood was a recipient for the Community Innovation Project, and that has been immensely helpful in getting us forward to where we are. But it's like, just like, where's the next chunk coming from? And we had kind of been told, like, just hold on, wait, there will be infrastructure money. And I'm just like, I'd be kind of interested to see a breakdown like of that 100 million, how much of it went towards stabilization, and how much of it went towards improving the workforce satisfaction and keeping them there. I mean, I understand like that is all absolutely super important, but to actually know, like, was there any percentage that was set aside for infrastructure, or maybe like that is thought about in the future, of just knowing that we should be setting some aside for that purpose. Thanks.
I just wanted to chime in here, not to like completely change the subject, but I really appreciated the policy discussion with Tamar, and I think Iris with a Stellar Group, just talking about literally just teaching us how to look up bills and different things. That was really helpful, and how to like earmark them. I have some that I'm following now, and I think in future, whether that's our monthly meetings or at the retreat, like a deeper dive into that, but also like a hands-on like discussion or activity where we could really talk about how we as a group could come together and support the work, what is actually needed. Is it storytelling? Like really just talking more tangibles there would be helpful, because we do have this extension in our communities that we could be tapping into. But I felt like I learned a lot during that, but I'm still just unsure of like how I, as a lead in my community, could rally the troops and support the work going on in Juneau and beyond. So just really, I think that would be my feedback, like constructive feedback for future opportunities.
That's really helpful feedback, Abby. Thank you. It's good to know that that was useful. And I think it's a great idea to figure out how to incorporate it into the monthly meetings. I think we definitely can do it both as like a whole standalone, but also have chunks of it, even if it's not like a main topic, like just to include it in an ongoing way. And knowing what, like, I know it's different for different communities, but like any feedback that people want to give about if there's something tangible that would be helpful, like this came up in my community and I feel like I didn't know this that I wanted to do, or we're wrestling with this and we'd like engagement. So you don't have to provide that, but if any of those types of things come up, like I'd really like to know how to track a bill, or we're feeling like we need to do action around this. Any type of stuff like that is always welcome, so we can help weave that into how we structure what we do as a group.
Okay. Well, if there isn't any additional thoughts on this, I think we can work on wrapping us up for this meeting. Just want to thank you all for participating today, for sharing, for contributing. It's always great whenever we have a talkative group, and lots of great work is happening in each of your communities. Lots of great feedback, brainstorming, connections. Our next meeting is April 23rd. I know we had done a little bit of restructuring of our meetings just to fit in some. We have 2 more until the end of our season, and then Sharon and I will be working with everybody to do our monthly check-ins during the summertime. But our next one will be April 23rd, and then we'll have our final meeting on May 14th. And we've got some different things happening coming up with both of those meetings, and we'll be sending out information. We've got some follow-up from the DDA group, Denali Daniels and Associates, on some survey information. We've got hopefully some more information on the governor's task force and their round 2 pieces that we can all find more information on. If you haven't had a chance to read through the recommendations, please connect with those and check them out. And then please remember to also check out those public or the links for public comment. Again, that really links to our funding, and so we want to make sure that we are able to share our thoughts on that so that we can allocate those funds towards our work. So I just took up a whole bunch of notes. We'll be sharing the recording and the notes from this. But up until then, I think we can go ahead and say goodbye until our next meeting. Again, there's a partnership meeting this Friday for A2P2. It's also, for those of you who are home visitors, our Home Visitor Alliance Summit is April 15th through 18th. So I think another broadcast went out at 10:30 to everybody to remind you all to register if you haven't had a chance. Got some really exciting speakers this year. I think that's everything. Sharon or Carmen, any other things to share?
For me, it's just if you're interested, I know I have an email from a couple with AECCC. I will get back to you, but email me. And then if anyone is interested, we still have slots open for ASQ Train the Trainers. So if anybody has providers that you would like to be an ASQ Ages and Stages Questionnaire trainer for screening, reach out to me or to Kristen Spencer at Deed.
Excellent. All right. I think we can go ahead and sign off for the day. Thank you all for coming, and we'll check in soon. Sharon and I are available. Carmen's available. Please, however we can support you, please let us know. All right, everyone, take care. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
I called you Sharon. I'm so sorry. You're muted. Shannon, you're muted.
Yeah. It went so well. You did a great job facilitating. Awesome job. Awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well,
and I took tons of
just
notes too. So if
good,
you,
okay.
I had like
Good.
5
I was
pages.
just like, blah, 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 like just like typing like literally verbatim from their
No, I know.
words. And
Maybe that's something we could do. If you're doing more of the facilitating, I will take notes so you don't have to do
switch.
it. And then, so yeah, I did take about 5 pages of notes. So
Okay. Also, I just had a thought, and maybe we can do this. What Aileen, is that how you say her name? Aileen. That was a really good. No. Was it her? Heather? Heather's
or was it
comment
Abby?
about. Well, Heather's comment about seeing if we could
Oh.
get notes on everybody and like who they
Yes.
are, what they do. I wonder if we can like put together like a map of that, right? Like send me a headshot, your location, what you do, something about your community that you find interesting that you can offer to others, right?
Yeah.
And then we can put that together, because I think, and maybe that's something we do each year. But I think whenever she said that, I was like, that's pretty valuable. Oh shoot, we're still recording. Hold on, let me
Oh, that's
stop.
good.